What is going on, everybody? My name is Jesse, aka your very own one and only Chi-Town Smart, and once again, I have a few things that I want to get off my chest. But before we do me a favor, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. I need you guys to hit that thumbs up for me. I want to make sure this goes out to as many people as possible. Leave a comment as well. And if you're not subscribed, what are you doing? What are you doing, brother? Make sure you subscribe for me. I would be so grateful. Follow me on X, or as I like to call Twitter, and also Instagram. It would also help me out, and I greatly appreciate it. Let's get into it. Will Ospreay versus Ricochet seems to have people talking. You know, if you know, you know. If you're a fan, you already know why this is a big deal, because the matches that these two guys put on are just matches of legend. Matches of legend is the best way to describe it. These guys have not competed in a one-on-one match in over 7 years. So when everyone started to hear the news that Ricochet was going to be leaving WWE and going over to AEW, it was immediately the first thing that people thought about, because we didn't know if we would ever get to see this magic happen again. But thanks to AEW and Tony Khan being a fan of pro wrestling, we're going to get this match again. And it's going to be epic. And they're going to tear the house down. But the question going around the internet today is, yes, we are happy that this match is happening. And we are happy that we will get to see it. But was it booked correctly? Should it have been, at the very least, at a pay-per-view? Because we're just getting it on television in a couple of weeks. You know, this match, if you've never seen it before, I highly recommend that you go back and check out a couple of the matches that these two have put on, because they have literally broken the internet. One particularly was extremely divisive. You know, you had a lot of your veterans, you know, who weighed in on the match, and they thought it was overly done. They thought it was too flippy, as they call it, because in their day, a great match was, you know, collar, elbow, tie up, headlock, hit the ropes, you know, shoulder block, hit the rope again, come back, jump over, come in, hip toss. I mean, you can imagine the formula that they would equate to something to being a fantastic match. But at this time, during this match, Ricochet and Ospreay just kind of broke the mold. All right. They went out there, and yes, it was extremely flippy, as they would like to call it. But I like to look at it as, first off, let's start with this. Pro wrestling is an art. It is an absolute art in its best form. And if you are familiar with anything about art, you know that art is not linear. Art is the perception that you give it. Art can be taken as anything in your vision, and you giving it to us in your vision and the way we receive it. Art can be defined in so many different ways as it pertains to pro wrestling, and this is no different. The matches that Ospreay and Ricochet went out there and gave us were something that the average wrestling fan had never seen before on that big of a scale. I believe the one I'm referring to was in New Japan Pro Wrestling. I believe it was in the G1, and it was it was amazing because the athletic ability that these two men possessed at that given moment was completely off the charts. But it wasn't just about that though. You got to keep something in mind, that the chemistry that these two had was absolutely amazing. They were completely in sync with each other. They made the match and their dynamic just completely it was a thing of beauty. It was an absolute thing of beauty. A lot of the old heads didn't like it. I look, man, again, you know, art is how you receive it. I mean, and maybe it was not something for them. But it was definitely something that the current, at that time wrestling fan embraced. They loved it. It was amazing. It was a fantastic thing to watch. The crowd, just everyone's reaction. It was a thing of beauty. Now we have the opportunity, and we're gonna get it. We're gonna get the 2024 version of Ricochet versus Will Ospreay. And that can mean so many different things, because 7 years ago, these two were fantastic. But you want to know what they were not? They were not in their prime. Right now, I would say both of these men are absolutely in their prime as far as in terms of physical ability and experience in this business. They can offer so much more in a match between the two of them that they may not have offered 7 years ago. Was it too soon, though? Was booking this match in a couple of weeks too soon? And here's why I asked that, because you will never get another opportunity to have Will Ospreay versus Ricochet in their first ever AEW match. And if I'm not mistaken, this will be the first match that they have ever had that will be broadcast nationwide across the world. There's no build to this. There's zero build to this. All right. And that is the debate going around. I am of the belief that bringing in Ricochet into AEW was a fantastic move, because what he offers bell to bell, we get to see against so many different guys that we've never seen before. Ricochet Pac, Ricochet against either of the Bucks, Ricochet Adam Cole, Ricochet Bryan Danielson, just Ricochet Moxley. It's not just about the guys who do the high fly moves, because one of the fantastic things about Ricochet is pairing his dynamic with someone who has a different dynamic, like a Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley is a notorious brawler. He's not going to go out there and do a bunch of high fly moves. But Ricochet will do Ricochet. Can Moxley keep up with Ricochet? Can Ricochet withstand Moxley's onslaught of brutality? I like the contrast. Brock Lesnar's on record saying that he likes working with smaller guys like Bryan, guys like AJ Styles, because they gives them the opportunity to sell his offense more, and it gives him the opportunity to be vulnerable, because these other guys are going to offer all kinds of offense that he may not have been expecting or may have not have been used to. It just offers a different dynamic, and and he's right. It was fantastic. But I'm of the belief that if you already have the lure that is Ricochet versus Ospreay, if you already have that in your back pocket, that if you give us some long-term storytelling to go with it, then the first time that they square off in an AEW ring would be an absolute barn burner. It would be absolutely epic. But just throwing it out there right away on a random Wednesday night just tells me that someone's too lazy to give us that journey. I don't understand the rush in getting us to this match. Cody Rhodes went over to WWE, and the match that everyone was waiting for was Cody versus Roman. We didn't get that to WrestleMania. We didn't get it to WrestleMania. I'm just using that as an example, okay? Just as an example. There's talk of, well, what about when they had Bryan Danielson versus Kenny Omega with no build, given away on TV? Okay. So at the time, and even right now, I understand that because, guys, Bryan Danielson was and still is literally on a bump count. Like, no one is absolutely sure just how much longer this guy is going to be wrestling for. And at that time, Kenny Omega was already on a tear, on a streak, and he was about due for a break. The guy was beat up. The guy was completely beat to shit, and he'll be the first to admit it. Not doing that match when you had the opportunity could have potentially led to the match never happening at all. And AEW made the decision, Tony Khan made the decision to go with it, get it out there, and let's make sure that we at least have the opportunity to get this match out to the people before some unforeseen things happen. Because like I said, who knew how much longer that Kenny was going to be going? Who knew how much longer that Bryan was going to be going for? All right. Now, if you look at the match we have right here, Ricochet just signed with the company this year. Will Ospreay just signed with the company this year. You have both of these guys locked down for at least 3 years. At least 3 years. Both of them are very healthy. And even if you get one or both of them to come up with an injury that has them sidelined for a while, it's okay. They're signed for the next, again, at least 3 years. You have time to do it down the road. Plus, what is the rush? What is the rush? You have time to give us a year-long build. Personally, I wouldn't have done this match until Texas, All In. That's when I would have had this match. Imagine the build. Imagine the anticipation. Imagine all of the little breadcrumbs that lead up to this feud. And then sometime early next year, you start kicking it up another level. All right? You start intertwining their storylines, but not having them actually come to a head. Have some disagreements, have some this, have some that. And then the closer we get, then we ramp it up into the red. Now it becomes an absolute grudge match. Now it becomes something that these two just can't wait to get a hold of each other. Maybe the feud is about who's the best. Maybe who's more athletic. Maybe it's about who is the biggest daredevil. I don't know. But the fact is, if you make us wait for it and you give us crumbs, then when we get that meal, my God, you're ready to feast, brother. You're ready to feast. You go down and you sit for a delicious meal. Here's your appetizer. Have a drink. Get ready for this fantastic meal that you just ordered. And then, boom, here it comes. Is it great to sit down and have your complete meal right there in front of you? Boom. Sure. Then the experience is over right away. You didn't really get a chance to indulge. And what's the rush? Tell me that. What exactly is the rush? Give us some story. This had the potential of turning into one of the best storylines that AEW has ever done because of the amount of time that you had to invest in it. You want to throw it out there right away. No story behind it whatsoever other than Ospreay saying, get some wins. Ricochet, where I beat Mortos. Okay, here we go. That's not enough. That's not enough. And now after we get this first match, then get ready. The floodgates will be open. We'll be looking at Ricochet versus Ospreay part 37 before you know it. You won't care about any of the other matches, including the first one, because it was just thrown out there. Imagine if the first match had 6-7 months of build. Imagine that. Imagine the story that would have gone into that before we've gotten that first match in AEW. And then sure, they can do multiple matches after that, but nothing will ever be more epic than the first one because of the story we were given that led up to it. This one has no story. Will the match be great? The fuck, I mean, what do you think? Of course it's going to be great. What if it was more than just great? The match is going to be great if you would have did it last night. The match is going to be great if you do it 2 weeks from now. The match is going to be great if you do it a year from now. How about we get some story to go with the match? Wouldn't that make it better? It's literally icing on the cake. There's no icing on this cake. There is no icing on this cake that we're getting for Ricochet and Ospreay. There is nothing that they can do between now and the time we get that match to make us any more excited than we are now, than we were a year ago, 2 years ago. Nothing. There's no build. There is nothing that they can do to make us more interested in that match in the coming 2 weeks. So why not wait? Why not wait till, at the very least, look, you don't want to wait to All In next year. You don't have that kind of booking ability to get us to All In next year. Fine. At the very least, shouldn't this be a pay-per-view match? At the very least, shouldn't this be on the next pay-per-view card? Why are we just throwing it out there on TV? Make the people want to see it. Make the people want to come to these shows. Now, I understand that TV ratings are an issue and you want to bring up the ratings. I can entirely agree with that. This match by itself, standing alone, is not gonna bring up the ratings, guys. This match is for hardcore wrestling fans. That's who wants to see it. Give it to us at a pay-per-view. Let them do what they do and tear the roof down. And then when those clips start going viral, and then when people start talking about that, and then in a few more weeks after that, if you want to build to another match and put that one on TV, sure. Look, these guys aren't going anywhere for a few years. So let's make the first one special. Let's make the first one in AEW as special as possible. Do you think that they're making this match that we're getting in a couple of weeks? Do you think that they made this match special in any way? What has creative done for this match? The guys are going to make it special when the bell rings. No one can stop that. What additional tools have creative given these guys to go out there and put on something even more magical? They've given them nothing. They've given them nothing. The match will be great. Fantastic. That sounds like you just did the bare minimum. If you are happy, look, I understand that we're all happy we're getting the match, okay? But if you are happy that we're getting this match in a couple of weeks on TV because you don't want to see it on pay-per-view and you just can't wait, I got to question what the hell you're thinking. Why would it be better to go on this soon than it would be to go on at least at a pay-per-view? Personally, I would have booked it much further down the road. But that's just me. I want to know what you guys think. Do me a favor. Let me know in the comments. I want to know what you guys think, because this is something that has been boggling my brain since last night. I'm looking at some of the comments online, and I mean, they're all over the place. There's some for this, some for that. But I just wanted to come on here and let you guys know what I was thinking when I heard about this match being booked, and why it made complete sense to me to do it down the road. If you're of the belief that it needs to be done right now and it can't wait, I would sincerely like to know why. So reach out to me, leave a comment, let me know what you guys think. I would greatly appreciate it. Guys, that is it. That is what I had to get off my chest. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for listening to me rant. Thank you so much for hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button, and hitting that comment button. Guys, my name is Jesse, a.k.a. your very own one and only Chi-Town Smart, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.